Welcome everyone. We are the APZ Group and we are here to talk to you about why Kiva, an organisation which provides loans and microfinance to community groups and entrepreneurs, needs to be brought to Australia. As you can see from the infographic you received earlier, we have a lot to get through. My name is Ali and I will be taking you through how the current macro environment in charitable lending and microfinancing in Australia is perfectly primed for the introduction of an organisation like Kiva. I'll then pass you over to Pahan, who will run through the marketing strategy, and Zoe, who will round it out with an explanation and analysis of the financials. We here at the APZ Group strongly believe in the mission statement of Kiva, which states, "We envision a world where all people hold the power to create opportunity for themselves and for others." We believe that the Australian public will believe in this too. Research presented by Giving Australia shows that despite the ever-increasing cost of living and the slowing of gross domestic product growth in Australia, over 80% of working adults donated charitably in 2016, whilst businesses and corporations gave over $17.5 billion. There is an increasing trend for individuals to be more decisive about where they donate and the desire for them to see a real and tangible difference being made. We believe that Australians will get behind the idea of providing and underwriting loans for those around them who have missed out on receiving assistance traditionally. This leads me to introduce our stakeholder charter. This has been created around the mission and values of Kiva and abides by the principles set out in the United Nations Global Compact. We endeavour to generate opportunities for communities and individuals both at home and around the world whilst maintaining integrity across all levels of the organisation. We will endeavour to incorporate sustainable business practices and to support projects with sustainable futures. We ensure that our actions are transparent and always in the best interest of each and every one of our stakeholders, from employees to beneficiaries to donors and underwriters. The safety of our stakeholders is paramount, physically, mentally and fiscally. And finally, we will foster the creativity needed to engage our stakeholders to generate opportunities for themselves and those around them. I will now let Pahan take you through our marketing strategy.
Hi, my name is Pahan and I'm 1/3 of the APZ Group. Now we've chosen a company called Kiva that's currently trading internationally to bring into Australia and start trading here. Now we've chosen this company because we as a group believe in the company's values, strategies and goals as a business. Now I'm going to be talking about the marketing side of things. So look, when we sat down and we chose this company, we really wanted to find out how we can bring it here and make it unique and different in terms of our competitors within the microfinance industry in Australia. Now, we kind of decided that the way we're going to do that initially is focusing on one community group. Now, we did a bit of research and, because there's a clear lack of funding for Indigenous Australians as a community group, we thought that Kiva could focus predominantly and initially on this community group. Now, we're going to be doing this through various things, but I'll initially be talking about the 4 Ps. Now, before I go into that, we just want to kind of make sure, it's a bit of a hard one, but we just want to confirm and ensure that we understand who our target market is. Now, it's not actually the Indigenous community, it's the people who are actually going to be using our service, our crowdfunding service, to fund or help out the Indigenous community. So the target market's actually people who will be crowdfunding and who will be giving charitable loans to these people. Now, these people could be anyone that's already, supporting the Indigenous community group, or individuals, or any, people in Australia or abroad that are regularly giving charitable donations. Now, the 4 Ps, it's really important to kind of nail these things. So the product, or in this case, the service, is going to be the charitable donations or underwritten loans that people are going to be giving to these communities and individuals. The price, now Kiva currently operates at a minimum donation or charitable loan of $25, so we're going to keep it at that. We think that's a good price, a good minimum, and there's not going to be a maximum for that one. Now promotion wise, obviously here in Australia and on a global scale, social media is huge. We're going to stick to social media, but we're also going to in terms of the Indigenous community, we're really going to target influencers that are a part of the Indigenous community, well-known individuals, and we're going to promote through them as well. Now place, this is a huge one. It's a bit of a tricky one, but it's basically how we're going to distribute our business and kind of end to end, how we're going to get our business to our consumer and our services to our consumer. Now, I did a bit of research, and I think it's great to kind of work and distribute our services through community centres and workshops, community activities and events, charity events, stuff like that. Now, another big part of it is the launch strategy, how we're actually going to launch our business and our service to our consumers. Now, there's two things that I've kind of focused on with our launch strategy. One is a motivational video. It's funny, I came across a video not long ago from a company called Morris Motley. They did a motivational, inspirational Indigenous video for one of their products, and it was insane. As soon as I saw it, I was kind of at awe of how much I didn't understand about the Indigenous community and how close they keep their belief systems. And I thought if we can kind of do a similar video to that and show how close-knit this group of people are and how they are really struggling, and there is a lack of funding in Australia for this group of this community group, we could definitely promote our business to our consumers. And another way we're going to launch our business is through forming relationships, especially here in Australia through different community groups. It's really important to form partnerships and relationships with charity organisations, community centres, big groups, big well-known groups that are doing similar things that we're going to be doing. Yeah, that's about it. So thanks for listening. Cheers.
Hi everyone, my name is Zoe, and today I'll be presenting to you the financial analysis for Kiva, the Australian version. So Kiva is a non-for-profit organisation, and what that means is that any funds that we receive or any donations that are made, basically any type of revenue that we make is reinvested back into our organisation, as opposed to being distributed out as dividends to shareholders or investors. That being said, if you are an investor, don't let that put you off at all, because there are certainly plenty of opportunities for development and growth within our organisation. But at this stage, we're really just focusing in on being a non-for-profit and doing the very best we can to reach as many people in the community as we possibly can. So the Kiva business model, in a nutshell, it's actually quite simple, but we receive money from what we like to call as our lenders. So pretty much anyone who is anyone can be a lender. It's just giving money to us to give money out. So you can make that through a generous contribution or just a small donation or any type of funds that we receive. Essentially, we're looking to put that money back out into the community through our borrowers. So for example, people that we generally hope to see as a borrower for Kiva in Australia are people within the Indigenous community who may not have as much of an opportunity as others to, reach their goals or just to do something different with their lives, to really build on their opportunities. So that's what we're here for. And because of that, we rely heavily on our lenders. So we really need to ensure that we're building enough revenue to put ourselves out there for our borrowers, because without our lenders, we can't actually achieve what we're looking to do. We can't actually give money out because we don't have any. We don't have any profits we can provide to them, because we're just reinvesting the revenue back into us to give to them. So we're really, really strong on making sure that we're building enough revenue. That being said, we do have very successful counterparts in the United States and other parts of the world. But being Australia, it's a completely different market, very different market share. So we've done a bit of research into seeing what type of costs we can expect to pay and how to build our revenue and what sort of numbers we might be looking at in the future. So what we've done is we've collated some data which has got some expected startup costs to bring the company over to Australia, and also some projected cash flow statements, which generally cash flow statements are a really good indication of your long-term solvency and how successful your business can be in the future. So we'll start off with the data we've collated for the startup costs. And to be completely honest, startup costs are one of the most overlooked expenses in the business structure. So a lot of these costs are upfront payments, which you can't necessarily rely on money to come in after to pay for. You need this money upfront to make sure that you can actually kickstart your organisation. So we've got a table that we've attached in our report, which has a lot of the breakdown of the types of things we're looking at. So for example, government fees, refurbishment fees, or even just finding a location to operate, wages, things like that. So just about anything you can imagine that needs to be there to start your business has to be paid for in an upfront cost. And we're really hoping that we can get some people on board, people such as investors or anyone who's passionate enough about this organisation. Some of the committee members we're hoping to get on board as well, just to donate as much money as we can so we can kickstart this business and make sure that we have the best possible start. Because once you start your organisation, you know, getting everything done up front rather than waiting to do this until you have enough money, it can be a really slippery slope from there. So we're really looking to have as much money invested now as we possibly can to make sure that we're set up for success. And additionally, with our cash flow statement, so as I mentioned, it does indicate your solvency, your long-term solvency, so whether or not you can actually manage your inflows and outflows of cash. And basically how you anticipate the trend to ride, I guess, with your cash flows. And what we've done is we've had a look at the money that we're expecting to receive in and money that we're expecting to go out. So for our revenue and our donations, so cash in, that's basically increasing each year. And predominantly the reason why that's increasing is because of the fact that the longer we establish ourselves, the more popular we'll become in the market. And our marketing strategy, as mentioned, will really put ourselves out there and will build relationships with more and more people and reach more people in the community. So that's a really good opportunity for us. The cash out, that's made up of things such as operating expenses and wages and any type of money going out of the organisation which can be expected. And just as the revenue increases, so does our cash out. And that's basically due to the fact of inflation. So inflation is something that can't be controlled and it happens to every business. It's just a matter of whether or not you can afford to keep that up. And in the case of our projected cash flow statements, it looks like we're going to have a positive cash flow, and that's a really good indication because of the fact that that means we've got a lot of success to look forward to and a really good opportunity for us to have the best possible organisation and reach as many people as we can. So all of that information can be found in our report, but basically we're looking that by the end of 2021, our annual turnover will be $1.3 million. So it's a really, really good positive start for us. And I think this will be one of the most successful non-for-profit organisations in Australia year on year. We'll keep building and reaching more and more people to make our country a better place. Thank you.